Hey guys, so today we're going to look at the top 10 hardest SAT math questions of all time, part 1. So we're probably going to get through 5 today, maybe a little bit more. Next week I'll upload the next 5, because I don't want to make this video too long. But in general, we know that SAT can be tough, especially Module 2 of the math section. But some questions especially are like a whole another level of difficulty. So today I'm going to try to break down the hardest ones and see if you guys can try to understand them a little bit better, so you guys can just kind of tackle the ones on the real SAT easily. So here we go. So this one is a classic question. It just deals with exponents. So it says, if 3x minus y equals 12, what is the value of 8 to the x over 2 to the y? Okay. First thing, what you want to do when you see exponents. These are not the same base. 8 and 2 are not the same base. I want to make them the same base. So 8 to the x, you guys agree with me that 8 is just 2 cubed. We agree with that. So I'm just going to put that in right there. So 2 cubed to the x over 2y. And then I have a video on exponent rules if you guys need a refresher on that. But basically, you just multiply these two, right? So just 2 to the 3x over 2y. And again, use my exponent rule of division. I have 2 to the 3x minus y, which is what they gave us here. 3x minus y equals 12. So this is just 2 to the 12th. That is answer choice A. So this one is just basically exponent rules. Like I said, there's a video on my channel that just describes the basics you need to know. There's not a lot of questions on the exponent rule on the SAT, but it's good to know because there are a couple in Module 1 and maybe like 2 or 3 Module 2. But this is something you should definitely know. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, here's another classic question. This is just imaginary numbers. You don't need to know anything about imaginary numbers. You just need to know, you need to multiply by the conjugate. So what's a conjugate? Well, let me just rewrite this. So 8 minus I over 3 minus 2I. I don't want to have an I in the bottom, right? It just looks ugly. So what you do is anytime you see an I on the bottom, you multiply by the conjugate of the denominator, which is 2I, right? 3 plus 2I. Why? Well, you'll see in a second. Foil this out, I get 24 plus 16I minus 3I minus 2I squared over 9 plus 6I. Oh, shoot, that was a bad plus sign, but minus 6I minus 4I squared. Alright, keep going, keep simplifying that. I'm going to get 24 plus 13I minus 2I squared. 9. 6I and 6I cancel. I don't need you guys anymore. 9 minus 4I squared. Okay, so now what am I left with? They tell us I is root negative 1. So if I is root negative 1, to get to I squared, I square both sides. The root and the square cancel. So now I get I squared equals negative 1. So now I can just put that in. 24 plus 13I minus 2 minus 1. 9 minus 4 minus 1. Right? I'm just putting in negative 1 for I squared. You guys should know this. I basically just repeats it in patterns of 4. So 24 plus 13I plus 2 over 9 plus 4. Keep going. 26 plus 13I over 13. I can divide this whole thing by 13, right? So just to try to show you guys, this is just the same thing as 26 over 13 plus 13I over 13. And what does this simplify to? This is just 2 plus I. And what is the question asking? What is the value of A? A plus BI, A is just 2, right? Because B is 1. A plus BI. Boom. Oh, well, there's the next question. We'll work on that later. Let's move that out of the way. But this is, I haven't seen this in a lot of like the more recent ones, but it is something that you should know. Just know how to conjugate the denominator or rationalize this whole thing. It's like maybe something like 3 plus root 2 over 4 plus root 3 will come up, and they want you to rationalize it. Just multiply by the conjugate, because in the denominator, as we saw here, the i's cancel that, right? The 6i and 6i canceled. All right, next question. All right, here's the other question you guys got a sneak. All right, here's the other question you guys got us like a sneak preview of. So in triangle ABC, the measure of angle B is 90, BC equals 16, and AC equals 20. Triangle DEF is similar to triangle ABC, where vertices D, E, and F correspond to vertices A, B, and C respectively, and each side of triangle DEF is 1/3 the length of the corresponding side of triangle ABC. What is the value of sine of F? So now that we have drawn our triangles, I just kind of filled in the information they gave us. We can kind of start solving. So each side of triangle DEF is 1/3 the length of the corresponding side of triangle ABC. Okay, well, so that means AC is 3 times DF, or you can just say is 1/3 the length of means multiply 1/3 times 20. That means DF is 20 over 3. Same thing with 16, 16 over 3, but we don't really need that. Now, using Pythagorean theorem, right, we just figure out what AB is. AC is the hypotenuse, so 20 squared minus 16 squared equals AB squared. You guys, the whole test is basically calculator. You can use your calculator, but this is also a Pythagorean triple, so you get, just kind of write it out. Alright, so now, like, this is just kind of extra. You don't need this. You can just use your calculator. Just kind of just to show you, just a refresher, I guess, on the Pythagorean theorem. But again, so now DE is 1/3 of 12. What's 1/3 of 12? 12 times 1/3, 4, 4. Boom. Now, that's not what they asked. What is the value of sine F? Okay, what is sine? Sine is, this is something we should all know, opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. So, F. Opposite, what's the opposite? 4. Okay, so 4 over, what's the hypotenuse? 20 over 3. So 4 over 20 over 3. Okay, we gotta simplify this now. So this is just 4 times 3 over 20, right? Because if I write it out differently, it looks something like 4 divided by 20 over 3. You guys agree? And now, right, we always just flip it when we're dividing fractions. Oops, I did not flip it, but it's flip it. And now you get 5 3/5. So now our final answer, I'll put it in green for it to stand out, but like a thinner green. Sine F equals 3 over 5. And that's my answer. So what does this one address? This one is just right triangles. The main thing is right triangles. You need to know Pythagorean theorem. I'll just write right triangles. You need to know the basics of trig, right? Just know SOHCAHTOA. That's all you needed to remember for this in trig. SOHCAHTOA. There's always at least one trig problem in module 2, so just remember SOHCAHTOA, opposite hypotenuse, opposite adjacent. But this was just, it's completely a right triangle problem. And it gives you all the information. Just make sure you guys know that it's similar. It's not the exact same. Remember, triangle DEF is 1/3 the length. Alright, let's move on to the next one. We have a blank chart or incomplete chart. So the incomplete table above summarizes the number of left-handed students and right-handed students by gender for the 8th grade students at Kiesel Middle School. There are 5 times as many right-handed female students as there are left-handed female students, and there are 9 times as many right-handed male students as there are left-handed male students. If there's a total of 18 left-handed students and 122 right-handed students in the school, which of the following is closest to the probability that a right-handed student selected at random is female? Note, assume that none of the 8th graders are both right-handed and left-handed. Okay, what's the first thing you notice? First thing I notice is that this if should be capitalized. No, I'm kidding. It should be capitalized, but so this all of these are half of this is useless information. This like this one sentence, these two sentences are important, most important. So there are 5 times as many right-handed female students as there are left-handed female students, and 9 times as many right-handed male students as there are left-handed male students. Okay. First thing I see, this is going to be a systems of equations question. System of equations. So you're going to need to know how to set up your variables. And define them. So there are 5 times as many left-handed female students. You don't have to do this, but I think I think it helps. So let's say let f let's just say let shoot. I don't know. Let's just say let x, okay? Let x equal number of lefty females, and let y equal number of lefty males. The reason I do this is just so I don't get confused between x and y. So it says there's a total of 18 left-handed students. Okay, well, x plus y equals 18, right? Right? The number of lefty females and lefty males, that's 18. And 122 right-handed students. Okay, so how many right-handed females are there? There's 5 times as many, so 5x plus. And then there is 9 times as many right-handed male students, so that's 9y equals 122. Now this is going to look really familiar. This is a very basic system of equation, but they're also including probability, right? What is the closest to the probability? So we need to understand what probability is. Ability, as well as know how to define our system of equation. But first, right, let's just try to solve what our x and y are. So doesn't matter. I'll just solve for x. It makes it a little bit easier. 5x plus 5y equals 90. 5x plus 9y equals 122. I trust you guys know how to solve this, so I'm just gonna go fast. So I got y equals 8. So that means there are eight male lefty. All right. That means if I put this back in here, that means there are 10 female lefties. And now I also know that if there are 8 male lefties, there are 9 times as many right-handed. So that means there's 72 male righties and 5 times as many female, so 50 female righties. So now I have all my information. Now they want a probability. Which of the following is closest to the probability that a right-handed student selected at random is female? Okay, so what is probability again? Probability is just our desired outcome over total outcome, or total possibilities. I'll just write total. So that a right-handed student selected at random. So what's our total? Is the right-handed students. We're picking out of like a bag of right-handed students. How many right-handed students are there? There are 122. right-handed student, what's the probability that it's a female? 50, right? There's only 50 females in my bag. So if I do this, I get 50 over 122. You can pull up your calculator. You get about 0.4098, which is closest to, round it, 0.41. Boom. A. So again, what is this? What is this test? Systems of equations. Just know how to set them up, how to solve them, and probability. The thing I think most people would get wrong is that they pick out of everybody, but they're only asking that a right-handed student selected at random. They're not asking out of all the students. They're only asking for a very specific group. So you just remember that. Remember this. All right. Okay. We have another geometry question. This is obviously a circle question, so just know all your circle formulas. I think they might give it to you. I'm not sure. But anyway, I mean you should know. You should know. So points A and B lie on a circle with radius 1. Wait, let me just draw the circle. Watch this draw me a perfect circle. Boom. With radius 1 and arc AB has length of pi thirds. What fraction of the circumference of the circle is the length of arc AB? Okay. Well, just draw what I know. When in doubt, just draw. So the radius is 1. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, the radius is 1. And let's say this is, I don't know, this is AB. AB. This arc is, what does it say? It's pi thirds. So this arc is pi thirds. So first thing I want to find is what the circumference of the circle is, right? What's the formula? It's 2 pi r. 2 pi r. We have our radius, right? So 2 pi, our radius is 1. 2 pi. Boom. So we got our circumference to be 2 pi. What fraction of the circumference of the circle? Okay, well, first of all, what is the circumference? Circumference is just the whole outer edge of the circle. So this whole green thing, if I drew it correctly. But basically, it's the whole black lining of the circle. The whole black lining is 2 pi. That's what we found out. 2 pi. So this whole thing is 2 pi. They want to know what fraction of the circumference of the circle. So the whole thing is 2 pi, and AB is pi thirds. They just want us to simplify this, right? Pi thirds out of the 2 pi. So again, we did this the other question. It's just divided by 2 pi. You can think about it like this, or you can just reciprocate it. However, whichever way makes most sense to you. I'm just writing it like this out so you guys can see. This is just 1/6, and boom. So 1/6, and there's my answer. So what is this test? Just circles. Just your basic knowledge of circles. You don't need to know anything about arc lengths or pi over 3. This kind of scares people, this last part of the first sentence, but just approach it how you would like a normal circle problem, right? Just know your formula for circumference, 2 pi r, your formula for area, pi r squared, and this should be good. This should be easy question you can knock out. Alright, so that's it. Those were the top 5 of this first part of the top 10 hardest SAT math questions of all time. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more prepared to take on the real SAT. And if you found this helpful, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more SAT tips and more math videos. And so just comment which one of the problems you found hardest and if there's anything else you want me to go more in depth. And thank you guys so much for watching.